Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. This is guys 115 speaking, and before we fall into the water, let me welcome you to the continuation of Offshore Rig, the diving area. In this level we are gonna get our hands on all 39 goodies. We are gonna kill 34 enemies, quite a step up as opposed to the Offshore Rig, because a significant part of the level was having no guns, that's essentially it. And we are gonna get our hands on all 3 secrets. Furthermore, we are gonna unlock 3 achievements unique to this level. Well, one of them is unique to both Offshore Rig and Diving Area because it's about getting all the 6 secrets of these 2 levels. This is sort of the small in-between chapter before we move on to the next big one. But perhaps even more importantly, from now on there are going to be 3 levels in Tomb Raider 2 where I'm going to put this lovely picture on screen. And that's because we will also be working towards the quite terrifying fire safety achievement. It asks us to essentially be set on fire by all enemies in the game that can set Lara on fire and douse ourselves in water and survive, okay? Now, originally I used to think that you need to do this in one playthrough. So you need to take massive amounts of damage, keep popping medpacks like crazy, douse yourself and continue the level, and then rinse and repeat with every enemy like this. But as it turns out, by the way, this is how I unlocked it for PS4, it was quite painful and our medpacks usage was like 20 large medpacks at the end of the game or something like that. But as it turns out, that's not really the case. It's not quite like Circus of Wilkabamba, where even though it's not part of the achievement description, you do need to make it in a row in one playthrough, okay? Here, you can absolutely do it even when loading the game, which is amazing. And I only found out recently, as I was playing this level on PS5, I noticed my fire safety trophy percentage was increasing despite the fact that I reload the game and move on to the next enemy, then did the trick and then reload it, and still the percentage was permanently increased. And I've seen some forum threads online saying that yes, you can absolutely unlock it like this. Some people even say if you miss an enemy, you can come to an earlier level and unlock it. Some say, well, if you come to an earlier level, like the diving area now, which is the earliest level where you can do this, your achievement progression will reset. I don't know, but the most secure and most convenient way of doing this, therefore, is to essentially unlock it for all 3 enemies in the diving area, then all 5 enemies in the deck level, and then one and only very special enemy in the aptly named Dragon's Lair. Ooh, bit of a spoiler there. So we'll do it in order, but please keep in mind you can absolutely save, set yourself on fire, douse yourself, and then reload, and you can keep going. So you don't need to actually stick to the playthrough where you will have wasted a lot of medpacks, okay? So that's a bit of great news I just learned yesterday. I actually thought you have to do it in a row without loading, and it just drove me absolutely insane on PS4. But apparently there's a much better way, so I'm very happy about that. Now, enough talking. If you remember, this is where we came from in the Offshore Rig area, and of course the path back is closed. It even closed at the very end of the Offshore Rig, and we took a sneak peek to what this area looked like. There was just this steel concrete block, which is now a real corridor we can access. The lever was here, the button was here as well, but perhaps the coolest change, or perhaps the weirdest one, is that we now have this giant fan spinning underwater, or it would be if it wouldn't be paused due to the photo mode. But yeah, I wish we could also switch photo mode settings to be real time, you know, that we're moving in real time, but alas, it would be a bit of a luxury. Now, there used to be a glass window showing us the skybox, now there's a fan, and we can absolutely stop this fan to get behind it and get our hands on 2 goodies, which are grenades ammunition. Now, there's a way to do this without stopping the fan, and it's actually an achievement on retro achievements. It is fairly tricky and difficult to pull off, at least I struggled with it. But thankfully for the official remasters we don't need to do that. Plus I like to show you what every lever, button and switch in the game does, right? You know, I keep talking so much about retro achievements. I feel like I should maybe one day do a guide on how to unlock the achievements or do actual playthroughs of the PlayStation 1 versions of the game. I don't know, it's an idea I'm toying with. I mean, Eyecore made an excellent guide on Tomb Raider 1 and 2 achievements, although he didn't do all of them because there are some rather extreme ones, but it's still an excellent guide on how to do that. So, anywho, as I was saying, I might do some retro achievements guide in the future, we'll see. And I'm also planning to do a compilation of how to unlock every single achievement in the Tomb Raider Remastered trilogy as a separate video, right? For those of you who are not interested in watching entire playthroughs, but just are after the trophies or achievements, something like that. It's gonna be a big project, but it sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, now, let's take a pot shots at these guys, but don't get too carried away. You need to start aiming at enemies over there. Or, if they're not coming, we don't have to. Oh, they're still not coming, so it seems we are safe on this square. Very interesting. Okay, we'll take care of the other baton-wielding henchmen later. Now, however, there should be a shotgunner, a rifleman, and a dog. Now, let's hide, take a few pot shots, hide again. See, you can probably even hear them shooting already, which is dangerous and pretty mean. Okay, I really wanted to do this without taking damage, and it seems we have succeeded. Absolutely wonderful. So let's get our hands on the care packages they left, some Uzi ammo and shotgun ammo, both weapons which we have by now, which is simply awesome. And if you're wondering where they came from, well, in case you do end up falling into the water over here... Ooh, I love the texture work. Look how many more features it has with these steel graters. Nice. They essentially came from this tunnel, which just serves as a way back should you fall into the water. There is absolutely nothing in here. The idea is that you hop on across this square, then this square, and make it there across whilst avoiding these hooks, which, by the way, have these little steel attachments on them, which they absolutely should not have. And I'll explain the reason why they have these a bit later on, because they are just assets taken over from a different part of the level where this actually makes sense, but here they just forgot to remove them, which is, yeah. Spear Saber, in case you guys are watching this, you just please be aware, you can fix this. I'm not sure if this is actually helpful to the devs. They don't have that much free time to check other people playing their games, but still. I like to think sometimes they do. Okay. And that's the thugs taken care of. Now let me show you a super convenient way to get across while using only one of these squares. Okay, so make a standing grabbing jump, that's the easiest way. Let's wait for it again. And you can just essentially make a diagonal running jump on the other side. You don't even need to engage with the other square, okay? So I'm really just trying to show you as many tricks as I can to minimize taking damage. There'll be some exceptions where I think taking damage will result in something cool, or us getting a pickup, where I'm gonna make that kind of compromise, but usually this is the modus operandi I like to have. Inside here is this level's first secret, incredibly easily missable. And now let's make a very stylish jump, provided I do not mess it up. Ah, damn it! If it was just a microsecond later, we would not even get hit by these bubbles. Oh well, I accept that, it's fine. Nothing on that side over here. And now, let me introduce you to the world's largest ladder. Oh yeah, baby. And you know what? I'm not gonna speed things up. I'm gonna just give you a taste of how long it takes to get up there, just so you know what the 1990s video game's longest ladder is like. I would be discrediting video games history if I were to speed this up, okay? So you're stuck with me. I'm very sorry about that. It's interesting, the music that plays right now is often associated with climbs and ladders and things like that. I have a very strong childhood memory of hearing this music sitting in my room, playing on our ancient computer from 1999, Tomb Raider 2, and just having a really full stomach because I've just had a lunch and it's incredibly sunny and hot outside and I'm tired and exhausted, but thank God I'm able to play Tomb Raider 2. That's my memory that is triggered by this track each and every time. And look here, I kept us busy talking nonsense until we got to the very top, which is truly wonderful. By the way, if you were especially observant via the original camera angle, you could have noticed there is a ledge over here. Which is funny, because in the past I always used to think you need to come here and then backflip to reach this one, which is very difficult to time correctly given how huge the ladder is. But do not worry, this right here is actually a way back. We'd just be wasting our time getting here. You absolutely can do that from that side, but there is no point, okay? Now, incredibly easy to miss, but not only are there automatic clips, but also see how well they blend in the originals and even in the remasters. M16 clips. Oh yes, the most powerful weapon, even if a bit unwieldy in the game. Now, remember, always slide with your back, but you need to be very quick here because there's an AK rifleman and we are at his mercy as we're climbing up. Similar situation from Offshore Rig. Okay, that's not too bad. Unfortunately, this one is left to coincidence often. If he decides to take a crouching stance and keeps firing repeatedly, that's it. A quarter or even 1/3 of your health is gone. Now, we need a blue keycard to pass through that door into what should be a familiar-looking area, and lo and behold, there's the keycard. Yay! Let's do it from this angle to minimize damage. Unfortunately, you know what this means, right? I gave you a sneak peek via the photo mode. We now need to make our way back to the ladder, but, well, we only need to climb one half of it, so there's that saving grace, okay? Now then. Oh my god. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand why many people don't like the diving area. It's just, it's all about this ladder. Okay, but we are halfway across, we'll be fine, I promise. Now, slowly but surely, we'll be approaching an encounter with the first enemy in the game that can set us on fire. And actually, since I'll be using this trick for the first time ever on Steam, I've been, of course, doing it on PS5, where I've seen the trophy percentage increase, and I've been doing it on GOG, and by the way, I'm not sure if you guys playing on good old games also have this problem, but on GOG all my achievements are bugged. Some of them show up in the activity feed, some of them show up in the achievement summary, some of them show up on the actual achievements gallery, but none of them really show up everywhere, and it's all messed up. But my completion percentage seems to match the one on Steam, so I don't know what's going on with good old games, and I've seen some people report this, but apparently not everyone has this problem, and some of us just have them permanently bugged out. I do not understand why. So, guys, if you're playing on GOG, let me know in the comments how the achievements are working for you, and also if the in-game achievement pop-up overlay is, because for me it's still not. It's just a terrible version of the game. Now, over here, we are in a sort of a square atrium. Now, this is going to be a very crucial area, a central piece to the diving area level. Now, behind this door is the actual central area where we need to go, but it's all closed by 4 doors, okay? So you can go around. There are 2 doors that have these wheels on their handles. Remember, we interacted with one door like this back in the offshore rig with this absolutely satisfying animation. These doors with the cogs or wheels on them to open them, the bunk doors, they're the only ones we care about, because this door we came from, and actually the door to the left from where we are, is a little bit of a suggestion to the offshore rig area. Remember, the door on the left led to bunk beds room area. So this is the door that we could not reach in time before it closed, and it gave us a hint of this area, but the right path and the left path were blocked off when we checked it out with the photo mode whilst the door was open, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, in this huge, perhaps confusing area, only 2 doors should interest you, so it's not as confusing as it might seem. Now let's take care of 2 dogs, then another pair of them, and now we gotta be extra careful, because I'd like to introduce you to a flamethrower wielding enemy. These guys are absolutely terrifying. So, first of all, to be fair, I'm terrified of anyone who has... wait a second. They turned it into a helmet? Oh! I was about to say I'm terrified of anyone who has a cropped blonde hair like this, but it seems like in the remasters they have black hair and they turned it into a helmet. I mean, maybe it was supposed to be helmet here, but I always thought it's just this very odd, weird kind of blonde hair that just didn't feel natural. Okay, interesting. But here they are. They're carrying essentially a flamethrower attached on their backs. You will never really have an opportunity to shoot them from the back. That's not realistic. It's not like they will explode or anything. This game is from 1997, okay? You just need to deal damage to them the traditional way. And you know what? I'm not gonna take a picture now. I'm gonna do it once they're actually firing, because I think that's gonna make for a far cooler picture. Okay, so first of all, make sure to keep him alive long enough for you to open this door and get into this area. And ideally not get set on fire yet. Now, let's save the game here, because that guy is fast approaching, and this is the first time where we'll need to let him set us on fire for the fire safety achievement, okay? Okie dokie. So there we go. I think this is a good opportunity for a... okay, no, you know what? This actually sucks. I'm just trying to get a... Okay, I'm happy about this. Yeah, it's probably even cooler in the original. I actually prefer these particle effects so much more, and look at Lara, just... Stoicism is her way of life, taking it like the badass she is. Okay, so I think I'll need to angle this a bit differently given which graphics version we'll be using, simply because the particles take up a different part of the screen than this effect does. But yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Okay, let me take a screenshot. And now for the OG, maybe I'll do it from this side. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I'm happy with how the photo album turned out. So let's immediately start popping medpacks. Remember, if you're a PC player, you can easily do that via pressing 9 or 0 on your keyboard. 9 for large medpack and 0 for the small one, okay? And there you go. So let's just reload the game and also really quickly check what does our essentially achievement stat on Steam look like, if it did track the one enemy or not. And I'll do that via opening up the stat screen over here. Okay, thank God, there it is. So yeah, we now see 1 out of 9 enemies. The trick has worked. The good news is you can now absolutely not let him set you on fire and rather finish him off. And then just rinse and repeat this for the 2 more flamethrower wielding enemies in this level, okay? So, talking about that, let's stay out of his maximum range. Thankfully, these guys, actually they seem to take about as much beating as the Doberman dogs, so they really don't have much of an armor on them. They wanted to balance this out by the fact that they can instantly kill you pretty much if you're without an access to water. They wanted to balance it out by at least giving them very little health. And be careful about the ambush over here, okay? Now, this really reminds me of the 2 cisterns from the offshore rig with a bit of a control room in between. It's a similar principle, essentially, and we can already see a thug-wielding henchman and an AK rifleman inside. However, before we'll be able to do anything about that area, let me show you what we're after, and that is essentially a machine control chip to open up the door over here, okay? I really like the work they put into these panels. I don't know, they just look so much better in the remasters, okay? Although, things used to be way brighter here. Oh, and one, I think, incredibly cool thing is that as far as the lights are concerned, even in the original they were sources of light, which was pretty cool, but now there is a bit of a depth going on. You can essentially see that there is a glass panel behind which the light bulbs actually are placed. So they are given depth and a bit of a more natural light shining feature. I don't know why, but this just helps me immerse myself fully, okay? So what we want to do is enter the depths of murky, underwatery darkness here. And you can probably already hear him. Okay. There are certain evasive maneuvers I am using to keep the diver at bay, constantly going up and down as we're moving, because we are absolutely being chased by this guy. Whenever you see rays of bubbles like these are all the patterns where he shot a harpoon at us, okay? These guys are not wasting any time. So, let's take care of him. Okay, not with a shotgun, Lara. By the way, they can absolutely shoot you even on a solid surface, so be extremely careful. Seems we already took some damage, which is unfortunate, but this is still within acceptable parameters, I think so anyway. By the way, there are some areas where I draw a flare even though I see what's on the screen, and the reason is that I don't really, well, I'm not really able to predict what sort of screen you guys are watching these videos from and what will YouTube compression do with them. So sometimes I'm using flares even though I see what's on the screen, but thinking maybe you will have difficulty seeing what's on the screen, so I'd rather just draw them. So in case you were ever wondering why Zelgar is so wasteful with them, that's the reason. I'm just trying to make things a bit brighter for you, and sometimes that might be useful, sometimes that might be pointless, but I think it's just gonna make for a better viewing experience. Okay, so a bit of an underwater maze here, but we've essentially opened up a door behind the bunk door in the central area that we have not yet opened, okay? And the reason is simple. We want to do a series of challenges to essentially get to the control room over here and trigger this crane mechanism. By the way, this is what I talked about. This is why those swinging hooks in the beginning had these steel attachments. Because here it makes sense, because there's this steel block that it's holding. And they just took this asset over, okay? So it seems that in the originals, that steel attachment is part of this tile. But in the remasters, that steel attachment is actually part of the hook, not part of the tile. I don't know, does that make sense, or am I going into a bit too much detail? I find this stuff just fascinating. I'm interested in game development and how devs work with assets and that sort of thing. So, if you're not, well, tough luck, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Now, oh yeah, another hint of a building in the distance, see? So very immersive, I love it so much. Oh, and actually this is gonna be a site of a particularly deadly achievement, so I'm gonna have to save our game yet again, because if we're successful, we'll actually die, okay? So, but first of all, I think I'd like to take care of a couple of enemies. Okay, and jump back so that guy cannot snipe you. Oh my god. Lara, what are you doing? He hit us twice with that shotgun. That was absolutely embarrassing. Okay, at least the AK rifleman did not. Okay, so there's that. Now, the alarm sounds as we're approaching. Essentially, our goal, or Lara's goal at this point, is to reach that helicopter on the offshore rig helipad, thinking Marco Bartoli is inside. I mean, this insignia is probably a good hint. And also, villains usually like to move around in helicopters. It's what Von Croy did also in the Tomb Raider 4 Last Revelation, when we were moving from Valley of Kings to Alexandria. So, she wants to make it. However, you can never ever make it on time. By the way, this is what the helicopter looked like. I love the wings effect over here. It's so cute. But pretty good translation. I like this a lot. And yeah, again, outstanding job, just like with the red helicopter over the Great Wall of China that brought Lara in. The point is that this area is tied to an achievement very aptly named Anger Management. Make Lara so mad about missing this helicopter that she's gonna explode from anger, is essentially what this is. It's a bit of a cryptic achievement, but it's one that, for us Tomb Raider veterans, was immediately clear what needs to be done, okay? No, nothing to do with a grenade launcher, which we do not even have at this point, but instead, in Tomb Raider 2, if you try to activate a cheat from Tomb Raider 1, you're gonna explode. It's a little bit of a sassy attitude from the original devs back in the past, because if you input the same kinds of cheats as you did in Tomb Raider 1, for example, that we were awarded like Dorothy achievement for, skipping a level, you will die and explode as a punishment, because this time the cheats require you to use flares. Okay, now I haven't really talked about cheats in Tomb Raider 2, I might do it in some other video, but let me show you what happens if you input a cheat incorrectly. But, because of that, we'll need to save the game here yet again. Okay, so let's ignore the goodies these henchmen have picked up, and let me show you how the helicopter just barely escapes. Look at it. It moves so cartoonishly quickly. Okay, so in order to unlock the achievement, let's make a step forward, step backwards, then turn left 3 times, and then jump forward, which in Tomb Raider 1 would be level skip cheat. In here, however, well, there you have it. Let's say hello to Lara, shall we? Oh my god, in the remastered graphics they still use the original assets? I had no idea. Okay, I feel like we should do something about it. We can't just let an opportunity like this pass us by. Oh my god, this is making my head spin. So yeah, say hello to Lara. This is what happens when Lara does not manage her anger. She turns into her 1997 version of herself and gets disemboweled. Well, that was rather morbid. And there we go, anger management. Have Lara get so mad about missing the helicopter that she explodes in anger. So the moment this achievement unlocks is upon seeing the game over screen. Okay, so do not panic if you don't see it popping immediately. That's essentially the gist of it. But let's instead enter an alternate universe where Lara will indeed manage her anger. Okie dokie, so now let's properly pick up everything these henchmen have dropped, okay? Let's see how close we can get to the helicopter before... What? No, just barely. See, this is what Lara is so angry about. I get that, I absolutely do. Okay, but let's not forget a single goodie over here. And actually, this helipad area, which... I don't know, I would wish they would add H on this tile in the remasters, but they're faithful to the originals. This helipad area is a site where you can experience a glitch, which will prevent the appearance of 1 or 2 enemies. And I'll explain later on, and I'll also show you a point in which to save to have an extra chance to retry that, should that happen. Part of me actually hopes that we will indeed encounter it, so that it will make a bit more sense. Now, in this corridor over here, we see a couple of flames with a key item. In between is a trapdoor leading to this game's best and finest weapon, M16, also tied to the True Detox of Evil achievement. I love the name of that achievement purely by the virtue of it being tied to Lara's quote in a cutscene at the end of this level. So really the best way to get our hands on both the M16 and the key item, the circuit board over there, and also the achievement by extension, is to first use the switch on the right over here. Do not side flip, it's not gonna really get you towards the switch directly, this is better. And now, first of all, jump over the trapdoor, roll into pickup animation for the circuit board, and now you can essentially just run forward. You'll end up falling towards the M16, unlock the True Detox of Evil achievement, and climb up and continue. You can also make a jump over the final fire pit. See, the timing is very neat, but I have not yet failed this method. It just repeatedly works flawlessly like that, and I'm very happy about it. So, we got 2 achievements down. There is of course the third one, Codex of Bartoli, for finding this level's all secrets, and of course we need to let ourselves be caught on fire by 2 more flamethrower wielding enemies, okay? Let's just quickly check the machine chip, it's called. Okay, so this will open up a door we've seen earlier, and by the way, there's the beauty, okay? M16. So the only weapon we are missing from now on is the grenade launcher, which we should be getting fairly soon. So M16 is essentially like harpoon gun or shotgun in that it is a 2-handed weapon, meaning you can continuously fire it when running, but if you stop, Lara will have to re-aim. Or you can continuously fire it whilst standing still, but if you start running, Lara will have to realign her aim. So essentially, it's a good weapon to use whether you're running constantly or standing constantly, but if you need to change your movement strategy, it's not a good weapon to use. In that case, I'd recommend Uzis. It is also a terrible weapon to use upon using backflips, side flips, or mid-air rolls, okay? Now, I'm not going to waste the ammo here, but Lara will have to realign her aim each time she touches ground, so you'll only manage to fire off a very short burst. So in this case, Uzis will be the superior weapon if you need mobility. But another cool caveat about the M16, which isn't really telegraphed anywhere in the game, and honestly, I don't even think it makes a lot of sense, is that it is this game's sniper weapon. It's a sniper rifle. It has longer reach than any other weapon in the game, and often you'll be able to take potshots at enemies that even they won't be able to shoot back at you from certain distances, okay? And I'm gonna show you a situation like that towards the very end of this level. Oh, I can't wait. And also, it makes such a sweet sound, rivaled only by the automatic pistols. So, you have a lot to look forward to is what I'm trying to say. But first of all, let's use the machine chip. We are now going to descend back into the central area. And remember, we are really only working with 2 out of the 4 doors in the central area, because one we just came from, and the other is a tease to the offshore rig level, just to allow immersion and continuity. Nothing else to it. We're just pendling in between these 2 areas, these 2 bunkhead doors. Okay, so we already moved the crate out of the way, which is very good. Let's insert the machine chip over there. Oh, and actually, I'm gonna save yet again due to another flamethrower wielding guy. So let me do that right now. Okay, and on we go. We might as well pop in a small medpack, doesn't really matter. Set us on fire, sir. Thank you. And there we go, we doused ourselves. And let's just take a quick peek. There we go, 2 out of 9 enemies. Wonderful. So this is all I wanted to see before we reload our game. Now let's do this properly. First of all, I do recommend taking care of this thug over here as you're approaching. With automatic pistols, you should be able to do it just in time. And doing this, you'll create enough distance for you to be safe from the flamethrower wielder, okay? So that's essentially it. By the way, the flamethrower wielders don't drop anything in this level, and I think also in the next level where we'll encounter them, there'll be 5 of them, and they'll drop absolutely nothing. At least if my memory serves me correct. Now, by the way, very easy to miss, but pick up the harpoons over here. If, like me, you are interested in this game's all kills, you will be grateful for every single harpoon you'll have, trust me. And by the way, this is part of a secret, because there is a hidden switch in here, in this corridor, and it doesn't even show you what it opens, but thankfully that something is very close. It is right over here, and it's the trapdoor with this game's second secret, okay? So this one I think is the more difficult to find in the diving area, and incredibly easy to miss, although the good thing is you need to swim here anyway, and you will have noticed that, oh, There's a trapdoor over here. There needs to be a way to open it. It's just the how that's incredibly cryptic. Now, let me show you evasive Lara, if there wouldn't be stuttering maneuvers. So I'm trying to move away whilst also going up and down in a circular motion. This is fairly tricky to pull off. And if we won't have another stutter, we might not even get hit by a harpoon, right, Lara? Because there's not one, but 2 divers chasing us. And actually, we can even... Ah, there! We can see the harpoon in action. Can we see it here? So this is what it looks like in the original. I just really want to take a picture of this. And this is, of course, the proper remastered version, okay? Ah, shoot! It still manages to hit us. God damn it, these guys. I hate them so much. And you cannot really see the projectiles too well. Okay, that's one down and another one to go. Okay, so again, circular motion around the shore of that pool area. I was really hoping we'll be doing better with our health situations. I mean, it's still possible to do it without using a medpack, but my god, is it gonna be tough. Oh, by the way, let me show you something really cool, without actually having to swim there now that we have the photo mode as an option, and that's this beautiful, gorgeous yellow submarine, of course with the Fiamanera symbol on it, very subtle, yes indeed. And, well, this is what it looked like in the original, but alas, I cannot really show it to you because it's so incredibly dark here. But don't worry, I'm gonna have a much better opportunity to show you this submarine at the beginning of the next level because it plays a key role. Now, the only place where we can climb up here is this smaller step, but we can take potshots at these thugs, which is always appreciated. Oh, make sure not to kill them when they're on the slippery slope, because you'll have a hard time picking up what they drop. Oh, what the hell are you doing? Okay, but don't worry, should that actually happen, that you'll kill these henchmen as they're on the slippery slope, you will find a medpack, or what is it they're dropping? Yeah, a small and a large medpack on the slippery slope. But it's not impossible to pick it up, okay? It's just a bit difficult. You can still make a standing jump directly on that spot whilst hammering the control key, and Lara should still pick it up and then slide down, okay? It's just a bit more tricky and inconvenient, so I recommend you kill them when they're on solid equal surface. That's essentially it. Now, the moment you press the switch over here, a diver will actually appear in the pool below us. You've just opened the control room, and unfortunately, we released the hounds from that room. Okay, let's take some cover. You never know when a stray harpoon will hit us. So this guy is incredibly sneaky, only appears after you press the switch. But if you expect it in advance, then you're good. Honestly, half the path to success in these games is just level knowledge, okay? The other half is, of course, mastering the controls. Reaction time and things like that, not quite as much. It's just the knowledge and being comfortable with the controls. Now, let's be real careful here, because the 2 enemies we released... Oh, they can... Whew. Okay, so this guy didn't manage to land a shot on us, which I'm very happy about. I don't want to pick up the Uzi clips yet, because there's... Ah, there you are. I didn't want him to catch us off guard, you know? I think each drops something. Wow, incredibly generous. Wonderful. Okay, so, with the control room open, and again this takes me back to the 2 cisterns rooms in the offshore rig, the previous level, this is a bit of a subversion of expectations, because rather than the switch, you know, opening up the door here maybe, no, that would be too simple, it will just move the steel tile, allowing us to use it as a platform, which I find incredibly funny. And by the way, these are the same screens we checked out in detail, okay? Most interesting thing I find here is that it shows Tomb Raider 4's release date. I would love to think that means they work on Tomb Raider 4 Last Revelation, but they've confirmed shortly after release that they currently do not. I guess they need to see just how successful these remasters are. Now, we are looking for a machine chip or a circuit board that will deactivate this buzzsaw, allowing us to pick up the red keycard, okay? However, first of all, we need to put up with the glitchiest part of this level. So if you'll forgive me, I'm gonna save yet again, and I recommend you guys do the same if you're interested in all the kills. If you're not, that there's really no need. Because depending on what happens next, there might be a dog or an AK rifleman that will not even appear in this level, and is driving me absolutely crazy. Thing is, if we will not encounter the glitch, you'll have no bloody idea what I'm talking about. So either way, I'm gonna do my best to explain. Okay, so Funny thing, upon pressing this button, you should see the helipad platform lowering and giving you a unique camera angle. However, that already happened just by you walking into this corridor. The only thing the button really does is show you the camera angle, okay, of the helipad being lowered. And now, what we should encounter are 2 Doberman dogs, a shotgunner, and an AK rifleman. If one of these is missing, then you have encountered a glitch, okay, which is incredibly unfortunate. Oh. Okay, so that's 2 Doberman dogs. The shotgunner decided to bail on us. I can't blame him. Whew, okay. And now there should be an AK rifleman as well. Now, with any luck, you'll find the AK rifleman inside the lowered helipad. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. But the good news is, we encountered both dogs, the shotgunner and the AK rifleman. This means that we, in fact, did not encounter the glitch, okay? So, what's essentially happening, and my understanding to the best of my ability, is that upon you entering that corridor with the button behind the crates, you will trigger the helipad lowering mechanism, although... Oh, sorry, it's not helipad lowering, it's actually helipad raising mechanism. There it is, with the steel girder and everything. So it's actually on top now, sorry. But revealing a platform underneath it. Now, there are 2 Doberman dogs, a shotgunner, and an AK rifleman, and upon this happening, depending on when exactly you'll time this mechanism, 1 or 2 of those enemies can disappear, either one of the Doberman dogs or the AK rifleman. What happened to me numerous times was killing the shotgunner, 1 dog accompanying him, and then finding nothing here. No AK rifleman, no Doberman dog. Or sometimes I would find just the Doberman dog, but no AK rifleman, or just the AK rifleman, but no Doberman dog. So that's why I recommend you save before even entering the corridor, because remember, the button inside it does not trigger the mechanism, it just triggers the camera angle showing you what happened. It's a bit of almost like a cinematic trick, right? And by the way, this never happened to me in the originals. I think this is a bug specific to the remastered versions, unfortunately. So there you have it. Hopefully this made sense, in case you are interested in all the kills, but again, kills are really not needed for all the achievements. So if you just want all the achievements and are not interested in all the kills, then you don't need to worry about this at all. Now I'm gonna save here again, because there's another flamethrower wielding guy, okay? So, by now you know what to do. You actually are in the very central area of the level, and thankfully these doors will open automatically upon you approaching them from the inside. And maybe we can get rid of you, just so you don't get in the way. Okay. And we're being fired at. Good, so he's following us. And this time we'll have a bit of an easier time, because we don't need to open the bunkhead door. It is already open, okay? No, that's not the one we want, actually. Oopsie, I took a bit of a wrong direction there. Might as well pop in a medpack, doesn't matter. Again, we want to let him set us on fire, and then be on our merry way to douse ourselves in the really only accessible pool for this purpose. Okay. Now, by the way, the flamethrower wielders will never follow you down the stairs. They'll always stay at the very top. So let them set you on fire over here. And there we go. And just keep popping medpacks. You do need to open your inventory if you're using a controller. And there we go. So that was the third one. We have 1/3 of this particularly annoying achievement out of the way. There we can see 3 out of 9. Truly wonderful. Now I'm gonna see you back again for this encounter. And we'll handle it like Lara would, by leaving nobody alive. Back here, and let's do this right by Lara. Now actually, the much bigger threat, I think, here from the get-go is the baton-wielding henchman over here, okay? Assuming you don't want to take any damage. There we go. Because the flamethrower-wielding guy just collapses very quickly, and we got our hands on the machine chip we've been looking for. Now, what I find incredibly cool, you don't have to do this, but I just like to open every single one of these doors from the inside. You know what, let's do it in this particular order. So there's this one, the one where we entered this entire central area for. It's also really cool to see what's been here all along, okay? Because in the very centerpiece is the way to continue the level and reach the final area. Okay, there we go. We'll need the red keycard to continue down there, and there is a particularly nasty enemy waiting for us, lying in wait. A shotgunner ready to blast us off as soon as we approach.
No.
Which is unfortunate. I have a way to take him down, but he is the reason I've been trying to keep as much health as possible, okay? He's incredibly dangerous. But first of all, let's finally turn off the buzzsaw that's been teasing us for the entire level. Really? You need recovery after that, Lara? Huh. I'm disappointed in you. Oh, thank God the noise is over. By the way, I just want to see what it looks like. Okay. It is the actual machine chip. Is it even 3D protruding from there? Oh, it is! Okay. With its little RAM sticks and everything. Oh, that's really sweet. Before it was just this garbled mess, okay? I like you, remasters. I like you a lot. So there we go. The red keycard is ours. I cannot tell you how much time I spent as a kid trying to pick it up without turning on the buzzsaw. Just the idea of exploring the level further was more terrifying for me than just sticking here and dying over and over. I was always looking for an easy way to solve my problems for some reason. I found that a worthier use of my time when I was a kid. By the way, looking at the screens over here, in case you missed my comment in the previous video, I was talking about, what a mystery, what area could this be? This actually shows the ambush site location where there was a shotgun-wielding henchman, the very first one in the game over here that we killed, and then two baton-wielding thugs, one from the behind and one from forward entering. There was this ramp leading up and down, and this was the entrance into the two cistern rooms of the offshore rig, right? And I realized this as I was already editing the video, so by the time you've seen it, I already figured out what it shows, but just at the time of me recording I didn't. Now this is evil. Feel free to save here if you're not bothered about a large number of saves. I absolutely am. So the plan here, and we can hear him breathing, is, see, he's just lying in wait. Another really messed up thing is, this guy can just blast his shotgun and shoot through the concrete block even when you're just standing here. Don't ask me how that works. It's complete nonsense. So the best strategy I found is to run forward, roll and shoot him in the back as best as you can. And that, my friends, is that. So we did not take any damage this time, which is truly wonderful. But you could have already seen the shell casing spreading over here. He managed to land a shot, thankfully not directly on us. Okay? Now let me light up a flare here. This time I'm actually not doing it for you guys, but suddenly sun started shining so bright that I can't see the screen properly. That's why I'm using the flare there. Okay, and this should look very familiar. This is the second pool area. If you fall down into the water here, well, you'll need to backtrack quite a lot, because you unfortunately cannot climb these stairs. And again, remember, if you were to kill these henchmen whilst they're on a slippery slope, let's say the large medpack would be right over here, then you just gotta make a standing jump and keep hammering the control key, and Lara will proceed to pick it up if you're fast enough, and then slide down, okay? So don't worry, it is possible to pick that up. But it's just better to kill them when they're on solid equal surface. And let's not miss these, okay? Very easy to forget about. And now we are gonna listen to a particularly interesting conversation, so I'm gonna shut the hell up.
Blood or answers? I have no preference. You should spill a bit of them both.
Okay, Mama. Love to have your What do you want? Come on, stick to your stomach. Tell me, which monastery should we look? Brother?
So it seems we just bumped into middle of interrogation, and let me show you how amazing M16 is. We sure made a short work of them. Sweet sound, incredible range, and incredible firepower. And again, you might have noticed as I was walking forward and then stopped, Lara had to realign her aim with the M16, okay? So it seems that Marco Bartoli and his goons were interrogating this poor guy over here. Well, I say poor guy, but he was up to some mischief himself. So we're gonna learn more in just a sec, but if in case you're wondering where the hell is Marco Bartoli, I mean, we've seen him leave via the helicopter earlier. Well, no, we did not, we just assumed so. The helicopter left, but I guess Marco was not on board after all, so Lara, you no longer need to manage that anger, okay? So our objective before we approach the monk, because that will trigger a cutscene and the level exit, really is to get our hands on this level's final secret in his prison cell, okay? Oh, and there's a corridor over there, which actually will lead to a familiar looking area as part of the cutscene. But for now, let's just try and not approach the monk. By the way, the henchmen over here drop absolutely nothing, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Lara has her priorities. Before she'll help the poor guy, she wants to get her hands on the treasures. And there we go, Codex of Bartoli. Collect all secrets in offshore rig levels, and so much, my god, so much Uzi ammunition. Perhaps we would even get Uzis if we didn't get all secrets in the previous one, I'm not sure. But for now, let me check something quick. Oh, thank god, we have all 34 kills, we have all 39 pickups, we have all 3 secrets, and we unlocked all the achievements in this level. And yeah, as far as fire safety goes, that's 3 out of 9. So let me make a level end save here. And let's learn a bit more about the third faction interested in the Dagger of Xi'an.
Oh, you are not one of them.
But you are a monk.
Brother Chen Bakang. You have come for me. I saw bright lights around me.
That was gunfire. I think it was them who got taken away by it.
But you are my guide, my path beater to a next incarnation. I have done my time here, haven't I?
What are you doing here, in Marco Bartoli?
Nothing. I led righteous life. Here for reasons rooted only in necessary evil. As my father was before me when he bombed Gianni's vessel deep into these waters. Now I'm here, was here, to prevent his son from salvaging the Seraph.
The Seraph?
You not know my life's work well. You sure you're not here for them?
Their Jackanory days are well over.
They want the Seraph to unlock a malignant treasure we contain in our monastery in Tibet. Since being stolen by imbecile vagabonds centuries ago, we've been without key to it, relying solely on cleansing of our prayers to keep it subdued. Then the occultist Gianni Bia acquired it. Trouble we knew. He breathed life back into ancient belief. One not to be stopped by any amount of head bowing. And now again, it is here. Marco, infected with madness. He has violent mind, but not yet the power to satiate it. So, we reach for our weapons once more.
The true detox of evil.
Where can you be taking me? Thought this was my big break. Guess change is as good as rest. Oh, I need one.
And that, my friends, was the entirety of both offshore rig levels, in this case the diving area. So again, we found all 3 secrets, for which we were awarded the Codex of Bartoli, we picked up all 39 goodies, and we killed all 34 enemies because we did not encounter the disappearing Doberman or AK Rifleman glitch. But remember, just save before climbing behind those crates with the button, and you should be fine redoing it until you'll encounter both dogs, both the shotgunner and the rifleman. We have also unlocked this level's 3 achievements, and we primed the fire safety achievement via triggering 3 out of 9 possible enemies that can set us on fire. On we go. And we did not use a medpack, which I'm so happy about. I think in this regard it was a tougher challenge than the offshore rig level. Furthermore, we were awarded with yet more plot exposition, which I'm really happy about. I love how it's paced in Tomb Raider 2. It's really excellently done. And so it seems that the third faction that are, well, they're after the Dagger of Xi'an, but in terms of just keeping it locked away forever so it's not unleashed upon the world, which, honestly, if they had any idea what Lara's after, and that's just to do the same thing but in her manor as opposed to their monastery, maybe they would cooperate more, or actually maybe they would try to kill her as well. But it turns out that these monks are not as innocent. Father of this guy, Chen Barkeng, apparently bombed Gianni Bartoli's vessel, and the vessel, called Maria Doria, is the one we'll be exploring in the following 4 levels. And my god, I love these levels. Again, if you have swimming anxiety, you're probably gonna have a bad time, but the atmosphere in them is absolutely superb, as are the visuals, as is the level design. And actually, shortly after release via one of the following patches, the Tomb Raider 2 Remastered version received a huge visual overhaul of these underwater levels. I remember being quite disappointed when I played it back in March this year on PS4, but apparently there are huge changes and I've seen glimpses of them and my god, I loved what I've seen, so you have a lot to look forward to. So thank you very much for sticking around. I hope this was helpful, and we also understand why Marco Bartoli hates these monks with great passion. They killed off his father and they killed many innocent passengers on that ship, all in the hopes of preventing someone from bringing the Seraph to their monastery to unlock the Talion, which is a key to the Temple of Xi'an, which has the dagger, which can be potentially dangerous to the whole world. I don't know, I don't feel bombing a vessel full of civilian passengers is justified, but that's what these monks decided, that's their only mission that they follow with fanatical zeal. They're insidious guys, especially as you'll see in New Game Plus, but later on about that. Thank you so much for watching, and before I'll see you in 40 Fathoms, I'd like to thank my amazing patrons. Blangupel, Mick, Severin Drax, Marek Malec, and Katie Danger, thank you guys so much for being my Winstons, and also for preparing a lovely wetsuit for Lara. She'll need it in the upcoming 4 levels. Big thank you to my caretaker Winston, Michael McConkie. Thank you very much for this time treating brother Chembar Kang to survive his beating long enough to spill the beans about what's going on. This way, Lara knew exactly what steps to take next. I'd like to give a very special thank you to my veteran Winston, Andrea Paviglianiti. Thank you so much for polishing, preparing and fixing your old M16 service rifle. It's gonna come in incredibly handy for the rest of the adventure. And finally, I would like to give a very special thank you to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for helping both myself and Lara, and for cooling off her head, preventing her from exploding given her very poor anger management. And thank you to everyone watching and for making it this far, and also thank you for sharing your own experience with these levels. Some of your comments are absolutely hilarious and fascinating, how you encountered certain challenges and tackled them, and from some of you guys I learned new tricks of the trade, which in turn make me a better Tomb Raider and make me make a better guides for you, which is kind of an awesome relationship we have when tackling these awesome games. And in case you're looking to support me further, feel free to check out my Patreon. You can also become a free member, or if you do decide to support me financially, I will give you a shout out like this in each of my videos. That's, I feel like, the least I can do. Supporting me financially will literally mean that I will be able to afford to spend more time making these videos, and there's nothing I'd love to do more. But if you cannot afford that, thank you just for watching, and I hope in a little way I've made your day a bit better with these. Now, brace yourselves, be on the lookout, because the beginning of the next level is the scariest one in the entire franchise in my opinion. It just throws you to the wolves and you have to immediately act. You have a lot to look forward to. I'll see you next time in 40 Fathoms.